This video contains vague and some general spoilers for Spider-Gwen comics, and then specific spoilers for Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider issues 1 through 8, and then speculation based on the covers of 9 through 11. So I've been reading Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider, a title so convoluted it might as well be the name of the next Microsoft console, since the day it came out. I was very excited for it, despite my initial reservations about Gwen being an Earth-616. The big thing that drew me to her character and to reading the Radioactive series in general was Earth-65 and the stories within it. And in my opinion, it started well, setting up a mystery of why Gwen is in 616, this idea that she isn't allowed to use her powers. It was as compelling as it could be for a story that I wasn't insanely interested in about a character that I love. And it ended on a Craven loss and her getting fished out of the water by a mysterious figure. I was excited for what comes next. That was 7 months ago, and I now find myself asking a question that sounds incredibly stupid without the however many paragraphs of context I'm going to immediately provide. Is this a Spider-Man comic? Alright, I know how this sounds, so let me explain. I don't mean, is this a comic following a character relevant to the Spider-Man mythos? I mean, this feels like a comic about Peter Parker. He's told by a higher-up that he has to keep his superheroing down for a bit to protect people. Maybe we don't even know why at the start, but the chameleon takes his identity and then goes on a rampage, tarnishing his name, until he gets back in the suit. This is a Peter Parker 616 plotline. And I know Gwen is a spider person and they're all similar, but this is Spider-Gwen, the one who lost her powers, bonded permanently with a symbiote, went to prison, was hunted down by her best friend and father for the supposed killing of her other best friend. She's never had a good reputation in Earth-65, so it feels strange to give her this fresh start in 616 and immediately give her a diet Earth-65 status quo. But this all happens without any of the side characters from Earth-65. Straight up, Gwen's dad, arguably the most important side character in Gwen's life, comes up 3 times. Twice in issue 1, both times a quick mention, and then in issue 3, right before she blue beams to space, which we'll get to. And I really like that part in issue 3. I think it works very well for her character. Unfortunately, it's never brought up again, and it's never relevant again. Beyond that, the don't use your powers mandate from the TVA is dropped 3 issues in. Cindy mentions it in issue 4, but she's talking about Peter's ask for her to lay low, not OB in the TVA's mandate. But going back to stuff about Earth-65, I went back and counted, and Gwen moving universes comes up relatively consistently. Granted, it's usually through comments like, I miss my Earth in issue 5, or on my Earth I was hunted, I thought I was getting a new start in issue 6, me too. Or in issue 7, it only comes up when Black Tarantula tells her she doesn't belong here, and it isn't mentioned at all in issue 8. And that's when I realized her dad is the only side character ever mentioned specifically, and even then, he's never named. I guess that's an over-exaggeration. Her bandmates are mentioned in the first issue 1 time. This is an ongoing issue to me in Gwen's comics. Her interpersonal relationships seem to just not matter whenever the writer doesn't want them to. Part of the appeal of the Spider characters are the balancing act between their superhero persona and their personal lives. This was a major part of one of Silk's recent runs. It's still relevant to these characters when they have a secret identity like Gwen now does here, but it's all completely absent past the first issue. We're in this Black Tarantula mystery, so there's no time to really address anything about Gwen being in 616. No reason why, and no struggles in her being here. She just is. And on that topic of things not being addressed, why did Gwen explode with energy? It hasn't come up for a few issues now, and this is where I bring up what is probably my main criticism with this run. There's too much going on, and none of it feels like it's for Gwen. I guess one thing feels like it's for Gwen, and that's the Black Tarantula romance. I'm not gonna lie to you. Since reading the initial run, I have always read Gwen as a queer character, even and especially keeping her separate from her Spider-Verse counterpart. Now, I don't know if editorial agrees with me, but the arc her and MJ65 have going has always felt like a long-term plan to get them together, especially with MJ pining for Gwen being the reason her last relationship ended. I can't lie, I like this idea a lot. I think their arc growing from how they used to be each other's throats to a more romantic one is a fantastic idea, and I think it fits with both of their characters. I also won't ever turn down more queer representation in comics, so I have to be honest and say this Black Tarantula romance arc does nothing for me. It also doesn't help when Jessica Jones says out loud, enemies to lovers is a popular story arc. And I don't want to pick on dialogue too much. I myself am not great at dialogue when it's outside of a sketch, but this entire conversation feels way too wink at the audience-y for me. I don't know. Romance just has never been this large part of Gwen's stories, so it's strange to me to make it the center of this first big new ongoing series in 616. The point is, there's a lot going on and no answers are given out. Why is Gwen in 616? We don't know. Why doesn't the TVA want her using her powers? We don't know. What's with the big blue explosions? We don't know. We do seem to be getting more and more information about Black Tarantula as it goes, which I think is very good. I like this drip feed of information about him, especially in issues 7 and 8. And cover speculation incoming, the cover of 10 has Gwen tangled in a web, which makes me hope that all of these unresolved things are going to matter to pile up and entangle her, and that's the point. I would love that. But we can't talk about issue 10's cover without talking about issue 11's cover. I don't have any way of concretely proving this, or like really specifying as to why, but to me, Gwen has always felt like the most grounded spider person. Now, I hate using the word grounded probably just as much as you hate hearing a video essay use the word grounded to describe a spider person, but seriously, until she was condemned to multiverse hell, see Comic Drake's video for more information about that, Gwen's stories were very down to earth and honestly brutal in a way that I don't see talked about with Spider-Man that often. I mentioned it earlier, but her own dad was hunting her, and she fought this souped-up Punisher. She worked for the Kingpin, and those are the types of stories that I miss from this character. Here, she blue beams to space, exploding with energy, and when she grapples with the fact that she could have hurt someone at the end of issue 3, I thought this is where this was going. The Haunted title would be her haunted by her guilt of leaving her father behind, and the worry that she will hurt someone with these new uncontrollable explosions. But no, it's a haunting from an admittedly attractive romance partner and villain. But I really love this character. Radioactive is the first comic run I ever read from start to finish. I love so much about it, and it really sucks to see a character that you love get this kind of writing more and more often. Almost everything that's made her unique among the spider people is gone. All that she has left is the symbiote, and I'm glad she does. It's one of my favorite things about her character. I think it's really, really cool. I want this series to be good. If you're a fan of this character wanting to defend this run because you're excited we have an ongoing for Gwen, me too. I haven't given up on reading this run or buying it because I think it can get better, past this initial bit of the run. Hopefully I can add a pinned comment to this video mid-February saying, good news everyone, everything was wrapped up and explained and I understand why she's going to space with Loki now. But I'll still have problems with this series. The lack of mentioning of Earth-65 or any of the side characters is incredibly noticeable and honestly worrying for the future of this character. On top of that, between the TVA series and this Loki arc, I'm just not sure what's going on anymore. Wait. Oh, she's gonna be in 616 because of the TVA series. Oh, it's all gonna be answered in a spin-off title. Thanks for watching.